So those that have come to join us this afternoon, we're in the middle of a 7-day meditation intensive, and the middle could be quite difficult because we start on looking to the end, and there's a if we are you would say worn down by the schedule or worn down by the practice, then there'll be a second wind that comes, and it's not by your effort. So the sitting practice, it's not our effort when we sit. I'm gonna start out with a little background of Seng San. And Seng San is an ancestor of ours, and he's the third ancestor from Bodhidharma, and he's a student, or he was transmitted by Taiso Ekai Daiyosho. And not much is known about him. He was middle-aged, and he was about 40, and he didn't have a family name, and he suddenly arrived and made three prostrations to Taiso Ekai, and Seng San said to Taiso Ekai, "My body is infected with leprosy." And Taiso Ekai said, "So you must rely on the Buddha, Dharma, and community." And Seng San said, "Seeing you, I already know that you're my teacher, but I still do not know what you mean by Dharma and community." And the Taiso Ekai said, "Mind is Buddha, mind is Dharma, and the Buddha are not two. The Dharma and the Buddha are not two, and the treasure of the community is the same." So Seng San said, "Today, for the first time, I know that the nature of wrongdoing is neither inside nor outside, nor in between. Mind is the same, and Buddha and Dharma are not two either." So Taiso Ekai, his teacher, was deeply impressed with his capacity, Seng San's capacity for the Dharma. And so he gave him robes and shaved his head. And he was called the jewel of the community. That's Seng San is called the jewel of the community. And his illness, it said he spent 2 years with Taiso Ekai, and his illness went away. Um, let's see here. Great Master Bodhidharma came from India and gave the robe and Dharma on me. This is Taiso Ekai. I'm also confirmed them on you. He also said, though you have already acquired the Dharma, you must go into the deep mountains and not teach. There will be problems in the kingdom for Buddhists. The Master said, since the Master knows beforehand, please instruct me. Taiso Ekai replied, I do not know. When Bodhidharma passed on the prediction, he said, although receiving the Dharma is good luck in the mind, it is bad luck outside. So at this time, there was a lot of, there was Buddhist persecution at that time, and actually all the Buddhist practitioners were being killed. So Singh San had to go and hide actually in the mountain for 10 years. And some say that he remained in the mountains and then he never came out. So there's not much that was written about him. He traveled to other places so no one could capture him. And also he altered during the 10 years he altered his appearance so he wouldn't be persecuted. So during that time, then he had a small congregation of people, and he gave the teachings, and his words are recorded then in the faith and mind is the Sing Sing Ming, faith and mind. That's a little background of Sing San or Kanchi So San. I'm going to read a look at a fascicle in here. It's called the Raihai Tokuzui, and this is from the Shobogenzo. True Dharma Eye Treasury, or Treasury of the True Dharma Eye. This a Dogen who there's a picture of Dogen on the wall up there, and he's the founder of our Soto School, and he wrote around 95 fascicles in this Shobogenzo, and the fascicles actually are the expression of actually Zazen. So it's actually all the different views of Zazen. This is the writing, and show is right. It could be right, not as opposed to wrong, and or it's the truth. So it's like gravity is the truth. When you throw something up, it comes down. It cannot be do you say reputed? Yeah, it cannot. No one can argue it. It's the truth. It's a universal truth. And the truth, or the truth of the Dharma is something, that we cannot say what it is, and it cannot be named, and it's something that it's before that it even appears, so we cannot name it. Then so shobo or ho is Dharma, and Dharma, the truth, the true Dharma eye, or the Dharma eye, is the eye. The eye is actually the senses that we have. It's the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind. So it's the things that we use, but it's without the thinking mind. Then it can be seen directly. So it's something that can be seen directly, but not thought about or intellectualized by the mind. So shobo genzo, and then zo is actually the treasury. It's the treasury. So this was written, I believe, in 1242 at Kosho Horinji, before Dogen went into the mountains to Kipoji to found Daibutsuji, which turned into Eiheiji. 1240. So Rai is prostrating, or it's making a bow. And Toku, Rai is to prostrate oneself too. And Toku means to get, and Zui means marrow, so prostrating to the marrow of attainment. Rai Toku Zui means prostrating oneself to the attainment of the marrow. In other words, revering what has got the truth. So he even said that a child, a man, a woman, a devil or animal, or a wild fox, if it has got the truth, we must revere it wholeheartedly. In this attitude, we find a Dogen's sincere reverence of the truth and his view of animals, men, women, and all things. In practicing the state of complete perfect awakening, Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, the most difficult thing is to find a teacher. Though beyond appearances such as those of a man or a woman, the teacher should be someone ineffable. Having met a teacher, we should throw away myriad involvements, and without wasting a moment of time. And this footnote, it says an inch of shadow. That's interesting. An inch of shadow. The sun shines directly down where you're standing, and if there's the slightest inch, that means it's wasting time. So the time is now. We should strive in pursuit of the truth. We should train with consciousness. We should train without consciousness, and we should train with semi-consciousness. Thus, we should learn walking on tiptoes to put out a fire on our heads. And there's a story about Shakyamuni Buddha that Shakyamuni Buddha raised his foot. One of the teachers, a revered teacher, he went away to go traveling, and Shakyamuni Buddha lifted his foot to show his sincerity and his reverence, and kept it there the whole time. And during that time, Shakyamuni Buddha would rise on his feet to try to see if the teacher is coming back. So this is and try to look to see if your teacher is coming back. So this is sincerity, and sincerity means a mind that is being very honest and very pure, but looking to see if this person or the teacher is coming back is interesting. It says we should learn walking on tiptoes to put out a fire on our heads. So there's no this fire to extinguish the fire on your head, that there's not even the slightest bit of time that we have to think about this self that thinks about what we want to gain. What we want to gain, or what we want to get out of this situation. When we behave like this, we're unharmed by the abusive demons. This is our deluded mind. Taiso Ekai, who cut off his arm, gets the marrow, or the source, is never another, and the master gets free from body and mind, is ourself already. Getting the marrow and receiving the Dharma invariably come from sincerity and from belief. There is no example of sincerity. There is no example of faith coming from outside. There is no example or no way for faith, sincerity of faith, to emerge from within. Sincerity just means attaching weight to the Dharma and thinking light of one's own body. So it's emphasizing what you think about is you think about the Dharma, and it's not about yourself. So this is an interesting one. This is a sincerity. I started to write down then the translation. This we're also talking about this faith in mind, which is the Kanchi-so-san or Seng-san wrote the Shin Ming, which is the faith in the mind, or clarifying mind. A shin. So shin means a sincerity, or it means to hold up the most highest and the most supreme. Shin means a faith, or it means trust, or it means belief. A shin then could be faithful mind to the Dharma. Our faithful mind to the Dharma, which means being faithful to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Let's see here. but this this faithfulness or this faith, it doesn't come like a belief. Usually we're told about a belief and then we think it's true. So it's not faith. Faith is something not. It doesn't come from the outside, and it's not given. It's not given to you. Nor faith or this sincerity of faith doesn't. It's not created by you either. So it's not through this conditioned way of being that faith arises, or it comes up, but it's the merging together between the outside and then this inside. But where does this faith come from? And actually we don't know where it comes from. But we think that we do it, but we actually don't do it. When we let something be, like in our zazen. So it's not our zazen. When we do zazen, we think we're doing zazen, but when we let go of this zazen, and the zazen then becomes the zazen, then this faith arises. The faith. It's an interesting one, because just like Sing San, if we if we operate in a way with our individual, or our greed, anger, and ignorance, or our selfishness, or with our self-centeredness, then there's something that we create. It's we create our greed, anger, and ignorance. And this is the you would say, Seng San says in the Faith of Mind, it's actually the disease of the mind. So it's a sickness that makes us feel off. Just like when Seng San then prostrated to Taiso Ekai and said, "Can you absolve me of this leprosy, or absolve me of my sickness?" See. So in let's see, actually in the Fukanza Zengi, one of the writings that Dogen did, his first writing when he came back from China, he brought back the way how to sit zazen. And in the Fukanza Zengi, it says, "The way is originally perfect and all-pervading. How could it be contingent upon practice and realization? The Dharma vehicle is utterly free and untrammeled. What need is there for our concentrated effort? Indeed, the whole body is far beyond the world's dust. Who could believe in a means to brush it clean? It is a never apart from you right where you are. What use is there going off here and there to practice. So this faith, when we sit with this faith, this faith is you could call it a faith like body. So in faith there's in faith, a direct experience of faith is when somebody digs for water and there's a spring and they're looking for a spring underneath, and they see the farther that they dig down, then there's water that comes up. So they dig more. So it's an understanding actually of the teachings that start to become real as you then actualize your life towards this faith, towards this direction of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So when we sit, and it has to be over and over and over again. When you sit, you experience, of course, your mind, which is, it's crazy. Your mind is crazy. Your mind it covers all things. It can fly. It can make up stuff. It's like AI. It's like AI. But the mind, when the mind drops off and then the zazen becomes the zazen, then that's when the totality of things, the wholeness of things becomes then actually everything. In this footnote, it says that the whole body of reality. So it's the zazen. So it's all the parts of the zazen. Your arms, how you hold your mudra. It's your head, right? It's your feet when you sit. These are all parts of our body, just like a runner. He or she ties their shoes. They work out their legs, their arms. But when they run, when there's the gun that shoots up. Sometimes I look at the Olympics and watch the track runners. It's just beautiful. It's the running then that becomes the running itself. And it's the totality of the parts of the running, of the hand. The hand then becomes the foot. The eye becomes the track becomes the universe becomes the sun. And then it's all interconnected and it's one body. So faith-like body, the whole body of reality refers to the totality of things in their suchness. So this is the mind. This is having faith in mind, and this is actually realizing. Then faith and realizing are both the same things. When you realize something, then it is the totality of suchness, the totality of all things. Totality of things and their suchness, the Buddha nature, the world's dust, giving rise to illusions, defiles the original purity of the Buddha nature. So as we read then farther into the Fukaza Zengi, he goes into the Shin Shin Ming, and he says, and yet if there is the slightest discrepancy, the way is as distant as heaven from earth. That means our body now has become all the parts when we sit zazen. And then there's the thinking, there's the hand, there's the pain in the shoulder. Then there's this faith. This faith then arises, and then the totality arises. Quite beautiful. So it's this shift, but it's all the same thing then. But it's just this shift that happens. If the least like or dislike arises, the mind is lost in confusion. And it says in this whole paragraph, suppose you gain pride of understanding. Now I got it. Now I know what it's all about. I'm on top of the world, sitting zazen. I know what the Buddha is. I can leave the Zen center now. Inflate your own achievement, glimpse the wisdom that runs through all things. You have a glimpse of it. Attain the way and clarify your mind, raising an aspiration to escalate the very sky. You are only making an initial partial excursion through the frontiers of the Dharma, but you are still deficient in the vital way of total emancipation. This is the same thing as, let's see, if we attach even slightly more weight to the self-regard for the body than to the Dharma is not transmitted to us. The Dharma is not transmitted to us. I think there's that. Yeah, the Dharma, capital D, Dharma refers to the truth, because it's the thinking mind then that starts to fabricate, and it starts to distort then the direct experience of seeing, the direct experience of smelling, of hearing, of touching. So it doesn't become a direct experience, and then it's altered, and then it creates this self, and then this I, and then there's a separation, creates then greed, anger, and ignorance. So there's the faith, of understanding, and then there's the faith of actually having a teacher is very interesting. Relying on something not outside of yourself, but a teacher that you revere. Faith is that you have trust in, and so to do this practice, it's quite difficult. But even when you read in the Fukaza Zengi, he talks about the Buddha, Bodhidharma, the Buddha sat for 6 years, right? Bodhidharma sat for 9 years. These teachers, what our ancestors did, and this is thousands of years ago, people did this. So when you have a teacher, then you are able to make this leap or this jump to actually start to practice a sincere practice, to start sincere practice. It's I don't know. So you have trust. All the teachers that I've met, they did it this way. It's a certain way they did it, and you follow. So it's following our ancestors. But it's let's see here. So even Zazen is kind of interesting, because even if you don't understand, they say you keep on going. You're like, why should I keep on going when I don't understand? You have to keep on going, and you sit, and you sit 10 years. You sit. They say sit 20 years, sit 30 years, and I'm just starting to understand, just starting like a fragment, a fragment of it. And it's because life is so quick, and it does go by so fast. It does, like that. And then we die. We are dying. We are already dying. But to understand then the scenery of zazen, or the scenery of your life, is really, it's extremely important. So this yeah. Yes, interesting respect of the teacher. So example of the sincerity of the Buddha standing on tiptoe. So it has to permeate the tiptoe or holding up your foot. The sincerity has to be through your body. And that's what we're doing in zazen. It's through your entire body. So it's reconditioning this that all the karmic conditions we have, what we're born with. How every time, like when we sit, they say don't move. Every time you itch your head, that's a karmic condition. This is Nyoze's karmic condition. Or I hear sound, I go like that. Or I see something, then I make a distinction. And that's the mind that distorts that. That's making karma. When we sit, we're holding it all apart, and letting all the things that come up that we see equally. So we don't give any weight to what is good, what is bad, what is right and wrong. Then to have a teacher, or when we bow. Actually, I was having a conversation with the Shuso. We were going through the opening ceremony, and when you bow to the altar, then you bow, but you look at the Buddha, and then inside, when you bow, you feel and you visualize the Buddha as being part of yourself when you bow. So this is having of being faithful in that moment when we bow, is being faithful to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and it's being faithful to the Buddha, your awakened mind. So when you bow to something, this is the both hands coming together. These are opposites coming together, and when you feel your palms, you are feeling your opposites coming together. And when you feel your palms together and you bow then at the altar, then you and the altar are merging within this activity of bowing. But you need to do it over and over and over again to understand the scenery, what happens to the mind when you bow, whether it goes this way, whether it goes that way. But it's the activity, then the bowing, and when the bowing just becomes the bowing, just the same as zazen, then it's the totality of the faith-like body then appears, and it's not Kyle bowing then, not an instant of Kyle bowing, and then that's when then it's the totality of all things, and then that's when all things merge. And then that's when we have freedom from our greed, anger, and ignorance. So this it is said that those who attach weight to the Dharma will make the body into a seat on the floor. So this is on Zazen. It's coming back to the ground. And will serve for countless kalpas, whatever is maintaining and relying upon the great Dharma. Whatever has got my marrow or has gone to the source. Whether it is an outdoor pillar, whether it is a stone lantern, whether it is a Buddha, whether it is a dog, whether it is a demon or a god, or a man or a woman or an animal. Bodies and minds are easily received. They are as common as the world, as rice, flax, bamboo, and reeds. So this is all, it's all about a practice. Working in the kitchen, how we handle the knife in the kitchen when we cook food. How we hold actually the oryoki bowl. These are all forms that when they're specifically done in a certain way, then there's a freedom within that form, because you know where you are, and within this form doing it over and over again, not my way, but how it's a prescribed way. It's a kata. They do kata in martial arts. It's a way that you step and you do it over and over again, in which when you step a certain way, then it's not your way. It's the way and the harmony of the moon, stars, and the sun. So this is you are individual, but then you are with all things. And then you're with all things, and then you're individual. So it's both the same and not at the same time. It's both the same and then not. So this this faith of faith like body is it's basically being it's being where you are and what reality is showing you what to do. It's not choosing through your intellectual intelligence what you see, but it's more of the seeing than the seeing, and reality than pulling you a certain way. And then this is the faith like body. So when we sit zazen and we feel this totality, then we cannot help then but to start aiming. Then we recondition ourselves, our anchor in which we live our life. We start to anchor ourselves in that direction as an anchor. So then that's what we live by. It is an interesting one. It is, let's see here. Sincerity just means attaching weight to the Dharma. So it's emphasizing or praising the Dharma and thinking light of one's own body. It is to get free from the secular world and to make one's home the state of truth. Is an interesting one. It is to get free from the secular world and to make one's home the state of truth. This is a hard one for us, because we live in society and we live in this world. There's no way that some people, they come to the Zen Center and they're all, oh, I need a ride up to the Zen Center because I don't have a car. And I'm all like, why can't you get a ride? Because they don't want to waste gas. Then I'm all like, you're going to waste someone else's gas. And then they say that they don't want to, walk on any, kill any living beings. I say, well, then you have shoes, you have clothing, you kill plants. These are all the things that we are a part of this big network, and there is no way that you can escape. But this escape it's more of treating a disease or an illness of this self-centered way of being. So when we do something wholeheartedly or with at utmost sincerity, we're holding things up above our conditioned mind. So that's why it's embodying then all the forms that we do here at the Zen Center. So at the Zen Center, it's a little lab. No, it is. It's a little lab to understand this self, your greed, anger, and ignorance in this function and how we do it. So therefore, in this little lab, when something comes up, then we do another way, or we do it this way. But we're all working to actually, you would say, not react or act on our greed, anger, and ignorance. So it's a lab, or it's an experiment how we can recondition this self into a way of being that then we bow to the camera, and the camera then bows to you, because we're one body. We're all one body. It's just this one body doing these things. One body. These glasses, one body. It's moving. Everything is moving right now. Our mind is moving. The bell is moving. The wood is living and dying. So this is then the impermanence. This is the impermanence of all things. See. We did a ceremony. We did a ceremony on Saturday for the Chinese Historical Society. There's this little park in Petaluma that has a little plaque of the Chinese have been displaced and what they founded in Petaluma. So we had a ceremony, and we scattered flowers, and we did prostrations. We did prostrations and basically acknowledging the ancestors, or our ancestors. And this is all ancestors of all things. Could be flowers, could be the wood. But this ceremony had to do with the Chinese. Serve the ancestors by presenting heavenly food. Serve them by scattering heavenly flowers. Do prostrations and venerate them 3 times every day. And never let anxiety or annoyance arise in your mind. When we behave like this, there is always a way to the state of the Bodhi mind. Since I established the mind, I have been practicing like this, and so today I have been able to attain perfect awakening, Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. This being so, we should hope that even trees and stones might preach to us. We We should question outdoor pillars, and we should investigate even fences, pebbles, tiles, and walls. So those are all the things. An ancient master, God Indra, prostrated himself to a wild dog as his master and asking it about the Dharma. His fame as a great bodhisattva has been transmitted throughout space and time.